Hey there, welcome back to the channel. What happens when someone expects you to chase them, but you don't? When they pull away, waiting for you to break, but you remain silent? When they assume you'll beg, but instead you give them nothing? I'll tell you what happens. They start to panic, because people who play mind games count on one thing: your desperation. They expect you to crumble, to reach out, to prove that they still have a hold over you. It feeds their ego. It reassures them that they still have power. But the moment you don't, the moment you refuse to engage, that's when everything shifts. At first, they convince themselves they don't care. They tell themselves you'll be back, that it's only a matter of time before you crack. But as the silence stretches on, their certainty starts to waver. They check their phone more often. They scroll through old conversations. They wonder why you haven't reacted. And that's when the fear sets in. Because this wasn't how it was supposed to go. They were supposed to be in control. They were supposed to walk away with their ego intact, knowing you were still waiting in the background. But now they're the ones who can't stop thinking about you. The truth is, your silence is more powerful than any words you could ever say. It forces them to sit with their own choices. It forces them to question everything they thought they knew about you. And most of all, it forces them to realize that maybe, just maybe, they made the biggest mistake of their life. They thought they could control the story, but your silence has rewritten the entire script. And now, they're left with nothing but their own regret. Today, we're going deep into why your silence is driving them crazy, and how you can use this moment to reclaim your power completely. Now I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I am not an option. I am the loss they never saw coming. Let's begin. Number 1. They wanted control, but you took it away. The moment they thought they had the upper hand, you did the one thing they weren't prepared for. You walked away. See, they expected you to fight for them, to send long messages explaining your worth, to beg for another chance. But instead, you gave them nothing, and that silence, it's shaking their confidence. Because people who play these games don't actually want love. They want control. They don't want an equal relationship. They want to feel like they're the prize, the one being chased, the one calling the shots. And as long as you were reacting, as long as you were explaining yourself, defending yourself, or asking for clarity, they felt powerful. But now that they can't control your emotions, they feel lost. They check their phone, expecting a message. They replay conversations, searching for a clue. They scroll through your social media, looking for a sign that you still care. But all they get? Silence. At first, they brush it off. They tell themselves you're just trying to make a point, that you'll come running back eventually. But then, days pass, weeks pass, and nothing changes. That's when their mind starts to turn against them. Did I mean nothing to them? Were they stronger than I thought? Did I just lose someone I'll never replace? The very control they once had over you. Now it's slipping through their fingers. And the worst part, there's nothing they can do about it. Because control isn't about force. It's about influence. And the second you stop feeding their ego, you take away their influence over you. They realize they don't matter as much as they thought. And that's a blow their pride can't handle. People who thrive on power games need validation to survive. They need to feel like they can push a button and get a reaction. But your silence? It's forcing them to sit with their own insecurities. And let me tell you something, most people aren't ready for that. They're not ready to be alone with their thoughts. They're not ready to question their own worth. They're not ready to realize that they never actually had control over you to begin with. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's exactly what you've done. You took your power back, and now they're the ones struggling to accept reality. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My silence is my strength. Number 2. Your silence creates the obsession they never expected. Here's something most people don't realize. The more someone tries to forget you, the more they remember you. It's psychological. When someone expects a reaction from you and doesn't get it, their brain goes into overdrive. They start searching for answers, replaying old conversations, analyzing every little detail to figure out what went wrong. They try to move on, but suddenly everything reminds them of you. A song playing in a store, a place you once visited together, a phrase you used to say. Even the smallest, most insignificant things now trigger memories. And the more they try to push you out of their mind, the deeper you get ingrained. This is how obsession begins, not through love, not through connection, but through unanswered questions. They thought they had you figured out. They thought you would break down, reach out and fight for their attention. But now you've become a mystery, and nothing is more frustrating than not knowing what someone is thinking. See, people crave predictability. They find comfort in knowing how others will react. And when they can no longer predict you, it drives them crazy. At first they'll act like they don't care. They'll distract themselves. They might even jump into another relationship, thinking they've moved on. But deep down, you're still in their head. They start questioning themselves. Why haven't they texted? Did they ever even care about me? Are they happier without me? That's when the fear sets in. The fear that maybe, just maybe, they meant less to you than they thought. That maybe they were never as important as they believed. That maybe you were the one who had the power all along. And once that fear takes hold, it doesn't let go. People don't obsess over what they understand. They obsess over what confuses them, over what leaves them guessing, over what makes them feel uncertain. And your silence, that silence is the biggest question mark of all. They might start lurking on your social media, hoping for clues. They might start reaching out to mutual friends, fishing for information. They might even post things just to see if you'll react. But no matter what they do, they can't shake the feeling that they lost something they'll never get back. This is why silence is so powerful, because it doesn't just make them miss you, it makes them obsessed with you. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And right now, their imagination is making them suffer. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I am unforgettable, and they feel it. Number 3. They never realized how much you gave. When you were in their life, you gave them something no one else did, genuine care. You weren't just another person passing through. You were consistent. You were there for them, even when they didn't deserve it. You offered patience, understanding, and a kind of emotional security they took for granted. Your presence was comforting. Your words lifted them up. Your energy made them feel special. And because of that, they got comfortable. They assumed you would always be there, always ready to forgive, always waiting in the background. They didn't stop to think, what if this person gets tired of me taking them for granted? Because in their mind, losing you was never a possibility. But now, that's exactly what happened. And suddenly, the world feels different. The conversations that once felt effortless now feel forced. The texts from others don't hit the same. The attention they're getting doesn't feel as fulfilling. Because what they really miss is you. They thought replacing you would be easy. They thought they could find someone else and move on like nothing happened. But what they didn't realize was that what you gave them wasn't just surface-level attention. It was real, deep, and meaningful. See, a lot of people don't understand the value of a genuine connection until it's too late. They chase excitement. They look for distractions. But eventually, they start to feel the emptiness. And that's when they begin to compare. No one else understands me the way they did. No one else listens to me the way they did. No one else makes me feel that safe. They start scrolling through old messages, rereading conversations where you reassured them, supported them, and believed in them, even when they didn't believe in themselves. And for the first time, they feel the weight of what they lost. That's the moment when regret starts creeping in. At first, they might deny it. They might tell themselves, "I'm fine, I don't need them." But as the silence stretches on, they begin to realize something painful. It wasn't just your words they missed. It was the way you made them feel. You see, people might forget what you said. They might forget what you did. But they will never forget how you made them feel. And that feeling? They can't find it anywhere else. No rebound, no distraction, no amount of validation from others will ever truly replace the emotional space you once filled in their life. Because what they had with you, it wasn't just about attention, it was about connection. And connections like that, they don't come around often. Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." And right now, they want what they no longer have. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My absence is their greatest loss. Number 4, they thought you would break first, but you proved them wrong. They were waiting for the moment you'd crack under the silence, waiting for the late-night message, the emotional plea, the impulsive "I miss you" text. They convinced themselves that you needed them more than they needed you, that at some point the loneliness would hit you so hard that you'd fold first. They believed they had the power to make you chase. But every day that passes without you reaching out, it's shaking their confidence. They keep checking their phone, expecting a notification with your name on it. They keep scrolling through old messages, wondering why you haven't broken down yet. They thought you were weak, but now they're realizing they underestimated you. And that realization, it's haunting them, because this isn't just about missing you. It's about the shock of seeing you stronger than they ever expected. People like this thrive on emotional control. They push and pull, waiting to see how much they can get away with. But the moment you remove yourself from the game, the moment you refuse to play by their rules, that's when they start to lose their grip. They expected you to beg. They expected you to need closure. They expected you to come running back with apologies, explanations, and desperate attempts to fix what they broke. But instead, you gave them nothing. No texts, no calls, no reaction. And that silence is louder than any words you could have said. See, people who rely on power games can't handle uncertainty. They need to know that they're still in control, that no matter what happens, you'll always be available. That's how they feed their ego. But right now, their ego is starving. Because you didn't just ignore them, you showed them something they never expected. You don't need them. That's what's keeping them up at night. At first, they tried to convince themselves that they didn't care. They told themselves, "Good. They finally stopped bothering me." But as the silence stretched on, doubt started creeping in. Why haven't they texted? Did I not mean as much to them as I thought? Are they over me? And that's when the panic sets in. Because suddenly, They're the ones feeling powerless. They're the ones constantly checking their phone. They're the ones replaying old conversations. They're the ones wondering if they made a mistake. The tables have turned, and they don't know how to handle it. Marcus Aurelius once said, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." And right now, they're realizing that you're living without them. That's what stings the most. Not just losing you, but watching you move forward as if they never existed. Number 5. They can't fill the void you left. They thought moving on would be easy. They told themselves, "I'll just find someone new." They believed they could replace you like switching out an old phone, something convenient, something forgettable. But here's what they never saw coming. You weren't just anyone. The way you cared, the way you listened, the way you showed up, even when they didn't deserve it, that's not something you can just replace. So now, they're searching for a distraction, searching for validation, searching for anything that makes them feel the way you did. But nothing works. They might be entertaining new people. They might be going out, partying, pretending they don't care. They might even post pictures hoping to make you jealous. But deep down, they feel the emptiness, because what you gave wasn't just surface-level attention. It was deep. It was rare. It was real. And the truth about rare things, once lost, they can't be replaced. At first, they convinced themselves it was no big deal. "I'll just meet someone better." But then reality hit. Conversations with others feel forced. The chemistry isn't the same. The inside jokes, the effortless connection, the way you made them feel seen, it's missing. And suddenly, they're realizing something they never wanted to admit. You weren't just another person in their life. You were an experience, a presence, a feeling they can't recreate with just anyone. That's why, no matter how many people they entertain, they still feel unsatisfied. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And right now, their thoughts are all about you. They didn't value you when they had you, and now they're paying the price. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I was never replaceable, and they know it. Number 6. You've outgrown them, and they know it. Here's the final painful truth. You are no longer the same person they walked away from. They expected you to wait. They assumed you would be frozen in time, stuck, hurting, wondering what went wrong. But instead, you became stronger. You healed. You evolved. And now, they don't even recognize you. That's what's breaking them the most. Not just losing you, but losing access to the version of you they once knew, the version they took for granted, the version they assumed would always be there. They never thought you would truly move on. They thought if they ever changed their mind, you'd still be standing at the same place, waiting. But now, that door isn't just closed, it's locked. See, growth is a funny thing. When you level up, you stop fitting into the spaces you once did. And right now, you've outgrown them. They can feel it. They can see it. And it's driving them insane. They wanted you to feel small, but you became bigger than ever. They wanted you to doubt yourself, but now your confidence is unshakable. They wanted to be the center of your world, but now they barely exist in your mind. That's why they stalk your social media. That's why they ask mutual friends about you. That's why they keep replaying the past in their head. Because the person they once knew is gone. They thought walking away from you meant you would crumble. But instead, it set you free. You're not begging for closure. You're not trying to prove your worth. You've stepped into a new version of yourself, one that doesn't need them anymore. And that's terrifying for them. Because now, they're the ones stuck in the past. They're the ones comparing everyone new to you. They're the ones realizing they lost someone they will never replace. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." And that's exactly what you've done. You didn't stoop to their level. You didn't play their games. You didn't let their treatment of you define your worth. You rose above it. And now, they're left with nothing but regret. They thought you would beg. They thought you would break. They thought you would fight for them. But instead, you fought for yourself. And now, they're the ones suffering. They might never admit it, but deep down, they know the truth. They lost something real, and they'll spend a long time regretting it. If this message resonated with you, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more powerful insights, and drop your favorite affirmation in the comments below. Remember, you don't need to beg for anyone. You are the prize.